Hi you guys, it's me Arden Lee. I am back with another video, and this video is another request from one of the members of the Repatterning Parlor. If you haven't yet joined us in the Repatterning Parlor, which is the Facebook group that I moderate, I definitely invite you to check out the description box where there is a link to it if you're interested in subjects like the ones that these videos address, and you're looking for more resources and some additional support from like-minded individuals. We would love to see you come join us, connect with us, and make some new friends. Hopefully we will see you there. So this is a request that comes from one of our members, and they asked me to make a video about how to have a better body image. And this is something that I want to address on a holistic level, looking at this issue in particular from a sociocultural perspective, which I hope and I feel will be the most effective way to address this. There are lots of tips on how to have a better body image, including, things like focusing on the parts of your body that you like, being kind to yourself with positive self-talk, looking at yourself the way that you imagine a lover might look at you, someone who is already in love with you. I even saw a hack just a few weeks ago to treat your body the way that you would treat a cat's body, right? We don't ever judge our pets for their body shape, right? We love our pets regardless of whether they are skinny or heavy or what shape they are. You never see cats running around. You never see a big fat tabby cat wishing that he was a long and slender Siamese. You just don't get that there. So there's lots of those kind of hacks, but the thing that I really want to emphasize in this particular video, the thing that I'm feeling into that's going to be the most helpful, is that loving yourself is an act of revolution. As we know, as I hope we know, one of the values of the Repatterning Project and the work we do is to really look at the way that our society conditions us to respond in ways that benefit those who are in power, but do not always benefit ourselves. For example, when I was in high school, the important thing was to get into a good college, right? No matter how expensive, no matter how many student loans you had to take out. And of course, this benefits the universities, especially the private universities, since in America, our higher education is not publicly funded. I'm trying to think if there's exceptions to that. I'm like, are there any? I'm not sure. All I know is I certainly went to a private university, and that's what most people that I understand, the experience that they had. And being sold into that myth that this was necessary for us to be taken care of, that when we got out into the job market, that our college education would benefit us and would be a worthwhile investment economically. Well, obviously, for my generation, that certainly turned out to be a lie. There are lots and lots of ways that we are conditioned to respond to things, to take actions that benefit people in power and that don't benefit ourselves. This is also how the wealth gap ends up being created. Now, what does this have to do with your body image? You might ask me. Understand that the negative feelings that you are conditioned by society to feel about your body, and the ways that you are continually bombarded with invitations to judge your body negatively, are put in place in our society because they make certain people a lot of money. The industry, the beauty industry, the diet industry, I guess it's primarily those two, but they encompass so much, right? They encompass skincare, cosmetics, hair care, nutritional supplements, diet programs, you know, cellulite creams, plastic surgery, right? There are so many industries that benefit from our lack of self-love around our bodies. If our society can convince you that you need to spend money to make your body acceptable, that it's going to profit off of you. And unfortunately, in late capitalism, we do have a system set up where what is profitable ends up being what is valuable for those people to implement. And sadly, there are many people who do that, many corporations, many industries that do that in ways that are exploitative. This shouldn't be a surprise to us at this point. I was kind of shocked, you guys, when it came out that our data was being used for nefarious purposes. I was really surprised that people were surprised, because it shows me how naive we still are sometimes about human nature. If you thought that Facebook was going to be chill with your data, if you're surprised that the NSA was spying on us, if you're surprised that your phone is listening to your conversations, then there are some difficult truths that you may not have accepted yet about human nature's relationship to corruption, relationship to power. We're currently undergoing a purge in our society that, as I understand it, may last the next 500 to 800 years, in which we are purging these values precisely because we can't live under them. They're not sustainable. We are creating, hopefully, going forward, we are creating systems that are based on values and ethics of sustainability rather than greed. Greed is the zero-sum game that means, more for me and less for you. That ends in our destruction, naturally, as we're seeing now with the ways that corporations are killing the planet in order to make profit, right? It's backwards, it's short-sighted, and we're getting to a point where it's crucial that we fix that. What does that have to do with your body image? I want you to be on the side of self-love and sustainability, because it's the necessary revolution to stopping the bleeding. I bet you didn't expect that this is going to be my answer. This is it's a pretty deep and philosophical answer to solving our body image issues. But I want you to think about it this way. Every time you give in to those negative thoughts, that societally conditioned self-loathing that tells you that unless you look a certain way, you are not enough, then you are giving into the very thing that is siphoning your energy from you, not unlike the little human batteries in the Matrix. So body positivity is an act of revolution, if and when it is applied to stop capitalism's siphoning of our energy and putting our focus and our wealth and our resources into things that ultimately don't matter, but which benefit the industries that peddle them. Why is it important for you to love your body? Because saying no to that game, to that system, is, in my opinion, one of the strongest roots of self-love. I believe it was Audre Lorde who said, something to the effect of that self-care self-preservation is an act of revolution in the face of oppression. I know I'm paraphrasing that, but um, but it's true. So you can look in the mirror. You can use positive affirmations. That's great. You can think of your body the way that you would think of a cat's body and treat it as such. You can think of the ways that your body is useful to you. You can express gratitude to your body for the fact that you need a body to get around on Earth, unless you want to be a ghost, which is kind of like living in Los Angeles without a car. You can try, but it'll be pretty difficult, and you might not be able to do some of the cool stuff. Public transport's okay, it's fine. But hopefully the metaphor stands. And I want you to be able to use that as fire to fuel you toward your own self-love. To recognize that your willingness to opt out of that system, insofar as it drains your energy and makes you feel bad about yourself, is in itself an act of revolution. I also want to say that there are certain parts of the beauty industry that make people feel great about themselves. People love to wear makeup because it's a form of self-expression. People love to take their their skincare routine as an act of self-care because it's a routine that feels grounding to them. At the end of the day, wash your makeup off, do your whole routine before going to bed. If that makes you feel good, great. But what we're talking about is a positive body image and releasing any of the self-loathing that gets implanted in us by these systems that are set up to profit off of those negative feelings. And that's the best reason that I can think of to opt out of that belief system. Because taking that belief system to its inevitable end leads to the increase of the wealth gap, to more corporations who are operating without ethics, and ultimately toward the destruction of the planet. Perhaps not the planet, but certainly to our survival of our species upon the planet. The planet will go on after us. It's probably a lot more than that person was expecting for an answer to a question about body image, but I think it's important that we zoom out like that. When we remember that our self-love is an act of revolution against a society that profits off of our self-hate, then we might look a little different when we look at ourselves in the mirror. I certainly invite you to do that anyway. I hope that was helpful. I'll see you next time.